Greetings to the conscious collective. I know my times were all over the place, so a lot of people may not be aware that I'm on because I would be on yesterday at 11:30 when I meant today at 11:30, but I wasn't able to get on till 1 o'clock. It's Eastern Standard Time, but I am on now. And if you've been notified, this is the real deal. I am on now. Greetings. We're going to be doing a reading from Venus enters Capricorn and receiving a message from the Sirian Starseed Council. That full guidance will be on Patreon if you want to know about how to more align that energy with you. Venus represents love, but we're going to be talking about love, and love is what you're willing to build. This is a tough subject for a lot of people because we have a misunderstanding of love. We think love is reciprocal, and love is truly what you're willing to work for and how you're willing to contribute to that. It has never been reciprocal. Even in any of your spiritual teachings, if love was reciprocal, then, how could you repay it or how could you return it to the degree that you receive it? So it's never reciprocal. It's what you're willing to build. So we're going to go into the reading, but this is going to lead into a larger context of the ultimate sacrifice in regards to love. And we're going to talk about the Christian teaching of Christ dying for your sin, which is kind of ludicrous in its own statement. But so many people have been taught that I know I'm going to be walking uphill trying to convince people who believe that no one can die for your sins. You have to carry your own water. No one else can carry your water. You have to carry that water. But I know that goes against a lot of Christianity teaching because it gives them a way out, escape from, being responsible, So, second, I'm trying to bring it up on my phone so I can see myself. I just like to do that. I don't think it really matters, but I do like to kind of get that feedback on my own broadcast. Make sure the sound is down. And we're going to get into the conversation in just a minute and the reading. Thank you for joining me. If you sent me messages before, I can see the messages on the comments here, but they're not on YouTube. And so maybe I have to replay, but even when I replay it, I don't see the messages. I don't know. I'm using StreamYard to stream. So if you send me a message before and I tried to reply, but it's not on YouTube, the messages are only showing up here. And so, I know I had a message from a couple of fellow community members, and I was trying to look for a way to respond back. I'm just going to have to take notes so I'll know how to respond back because I can't respond. I don't see the messages later after the broadcast. Thank you for joining me. We're going to be talking about Venus enters Capricorn, that energy today, and receiving a message for the Sirian Starseed Collective. The full guidance again is on Patreon. So let's talk about it because we got to get into some other facets of it. All right. Love is what you're willing to build. When Venus enters Capricorn, Love leaves the realm of fantasy and enters the realm of responsibility, devotion, and embodiment. Love, a lot of times we say we love people because of the way that we perceive how they treat us. And when I say perceive how they treat us, it's because a lot of people, representatives show up when it comes to dealing with other people, especially as on a romantic level, that your representatives show up. So we get enthralled in love because we like, oh, this person is showering me with love, with flowers. They're speaking my love language. They're really all about me. And so that ego is what misleads us into not really understanding the concept of love. Because during this transit, this is an opportunity to see love as responsibility, devotion, and embodiment. Okay? This is not the season of fleeting attraction or emotional indulgence. This is the season of choice. That's why I said love is what you're willing to build. Venus in Capricorn asks, what do you value enough to commit to? Commitment is often missing from a lot of our relationships. I don't mean while the getting is good, while the going is easy. What is your commitment? I remember my aunt told me a long time ago when she was dealing with my uncle, and he was a tough guy. He was really a tough guy. I mean, that toughness allowed him to do a lot of things during the time he has to come up. He worked 2 jobs, bought his family a house. So he had to have a real tough demeanor about him. And he really wasn't one to really be soft at any time. And of course they had their problems. And so I asked her one day, I said, why did you, I said, how long y'all two been together? How long have you been married? And she's like, 52 years. And I was like, 52 years? Woo! And she was like, I said, so how did you stay married to him that long? Right? And she said, there were some good days. And she said, baby, there were some bad years. I said, bad years. But when you make a commitment, you just in for the commitment. And that's a lot of things that we just don't understand that love is about commitment to richer and poorer. There are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be some really down points. There's going to be some really high points. Life travels in waves. Energy is a wave. It moves up and down. Everything travels in waves. And so you have to make good choices first. But once you make that choice, it's funny when people get married, they said, let no man put asunder, and then a man puts a divorce on it. It's just it's part of the chaotic world we live in anyway, where you say love is under God's covenant, but then a man can dissolve it, putting himself on the level of God. All right. But this is the season of choice. Venus in Capricorn asks, what do you value enough to commit to? What relationship supports your mission? We all come here with a purpose and a mission. We did not come here to particularly do what we do here, even though there are life lessons to be learned in relationships and our connection. We choose these things in our higher self. You are not who you think you are. You are a higher being. And this is just an avatar. This is a character in a play. I know it feels real, but this is a movie. You are just an actor in this movie to teach yourself certain things, to learn certain things, to grow, right? So realizing that you have a purpose and a mission, I hope a lot of starseeds out there, we're going to be talking about this Discovery Day, Disclosure Day is coming up. Steven Spielberg is releasing a movie called Disclosure Day. And we're going to be talking a lot about that, all right? Because a lot of people are going to start waking up to they have purposes in their mission and missions, and they're meant to do something greater than what they're doing. And so they're going to become more and more aware of that as we get closer to Disclosure Day. I'm going to do a video on that, all right? But when you're involved with these relationships, you got to ask yourself, how does it support my mission? In what way does it support my mission? when you think about, you know, what you're meant to accomplish, those things those should be the first things that you ask about any situation. Does it support my higher growth? Does it support my purpose? Does it support my mission? I almost think that I was thinking about starting something called Starseed Singles, where we actually try to put those more aligned together. I don't know if that is a good idea. Put it down in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are of something called Starseed Singles, and see if we can kind of put the people who are most aligned together, right? So the next question that Venus and Capricorn asks, what must mature if love is to endure? What must mature if love is to endure? We all have a lot of growth. The growth never stops. And when you're involved with a relationship, you have to ask yourself, what must mature in that relationship for love to endure, for love to grow? What are you willing to build? What are you willing to scale for love to grow? For Sirian Starseeds, this transit feels familiar, and we're going to get into the Sirian aspect of it. We use these transits to connect with our Starseed sisters and brothers and gain more knowledge and growth from what they have to share. All right. I hope that the correct Starseeds are receiving this. All right. For Sirian Starseeds, these transit feels familiar. Sirius holds the codes of sacred guardianship. Love expressed through protection, care, and long-term vision. This transit, that's Venus enters Capricorn, activates the Sirian's remembrance that love is not proven by intensity, by consistency. Love is not proven by intensity, but by consistency. So again, we ask ourselves, what are you willing to commit to? What are you willing to be consistent at? What are you willing to work at? What are you willing to build? Let's get in, because we have a larger part of this love. I want to talk about Christ consciousness and embodied in Christ, and how love is not exactly what we've been taught. And hopefully you'll gain something from that knowledge to have a better understanding of the sacrifice of Christ as opposed to love. So here's the message from the Sirian collection. Beloved steward of life, you are entering a season where love must become reliable. Do not confuse devotion with sacrifice. Do not confuse distance with strength. Do not confuse endurance with stagnation. I think this needs to be clarified. I wanted to read straight through it, but I want you to understand, right, that your devotion is not a sacrifice. It is not supposed to be viewed as some type of sacrifice. All right, it is your commitment. Do not confuse your distance with strength by setting boundaries. All right, you want to make sure that you are protecting yourself in a loving relationship. Do not confuse endurance with stagnation. There should always be growth in that. Venus now asks you to choose relationships, values, and creations that can withstand time. What drains you is not love. What stabilizes you is. Both build bonds that respect your boundaries. Build beauty that serves your future. Build commitments that nourish your mission. Love, when aligned, does not distract you from your purpose. It fortifies it. Choose what is worthy of your energy. This is how your harmony is preserved. That has been a message from the Sirian Star Collective. Hopefully it is received by those that are open to it. But I wanted to go a little farther, and I wanted to have a better understanding of love as we deal with Venus entering Capricorn energy, and ask the conflict between self-love and Christ's crucifixion. Are these two things incompatible, or how are they reconciled? Christ's crucifixion is understood through higher consciousness. You have to understand that a lot of times the narrative has been about Christ. It should have been about Christ consciousness. It should have been about the message and not the messenger. And this is where it was really twisted and corrupted from the beginning, that immediately the message was taken away from the messenger and all the focus was given on the messenger. So we missed the whole message of Christ consciousness. So as spiritual people, we try to focus back on Christ consciousness, not so much on Christ of Nazareth, Christ, the carpenter. We want to look at the title, Christ consciousness, all right, as a way of understanding how we're supposed to navigate this plane of existence. So we look at that crucifixion, we should look at it through a lens of higher consciousness and not through guilt, punishment, or self-erasure, which is what has been taught in religious teaching. That is based on guilt, punishment, and self-erasure. Those are actually great tools for controlling people. The core misunderstanding, the conflict between self-love and the crucifixion, only exists when the crucifixion is interpreted as God requiring suffering. When you look at the crucifixion and you receive it as God requires some suffering, this is so mind-blowing to those that are ready to receive it. And love meaning self-denial, that your holiness requiring abandonment of the self. In spiritual beliefs, self-sovereignty is one of the highest principles. Self-sovereignty, right? When you have to sacrifice yourself and abandon the self, you are heading actually in the wrong direction. And this is going to be hard for a lot of people to understand, but those that are ready to receive it are going to be receiving this. Sacrifice means worthlessness of the individual. So when you look at yourself being sacrificed, it means your worthlessness. It is not, that you have some great value that you're giving yourself over, that you really don't value yourself through it. That interpretation does not reflect the actual Christ consciousness. It reflects a later theology framing rooted in control, fear, and hierarchy. That sacrifice was actually a ploy for control, fear, and the hierarchy. So understand, self-love is not ego. Ego is when you sacrifice yourself. A lot of people assume ego is like only the praise of something or the greatness of yourself. But ego could also be sacrificing yourself for the greater good, so-called. Giving yourself over is also a form of ego. Spiritualism is about being the observer and stepping away from the ego, okay? So when you're doing a sacrifice based on your ego, it is the opposite of self-love. And self-love is one of the highest conditions of spirituality. It's the recognition of the divine self. Christ did not love instead of himself. Christ loved from himself. So again, we're dealing with Christ consciousness. Not instead, I'm going to sacrifice myself, but I'm going to give of myself. This is a critical distinction. Ego is self-love, validation, superiority, and identity defense. Christ consciousness is self-love in alignment with divine truth within. Christ's authority came from knowing who he was. That knowing of self-recognition, not self-negate. When the crucifix is represented in consciousness term, from a Christ consciousness perspective, the crucifixion is not about seeking suffering. It represents non-abandonment of truth under pressure. This is where we're getting right to the meat of the matter. All right. The crucifixion was about representing your truth even under pressure. Not retaliating without self-hatred. Non-retaliation without self-hatred. The refusal to collapse identity under fear integrity maintained even when the world resists it. So those that understand Christ consciousness do not seek death. They do not seek pain. They do not teach others to accept abuse. This is not of the spiritual teaching. This is what you get in religion and the misunderstanding of Christ consciousness. What Christ consciousness actually means is the refusal to betray your inner truth and in order to preserve your physical safety. This is not self-hate. This is radical self-integrity, that you're going to stand 10 toes down on what you believe, as opposed to being fearful of being pushed back on. Christ consciousness draws a line. Self-love equals remaining aligned with truth even when it's costly. Self-betrayal is abandoning truth to avoid your discomfort. You see the difference? Christ in his teachings and what he had to share chose truth over fear. This is the highest form of self-love. Christ did not say, I am worthless, therefore I must suffer. He embodied, I know who I am, therefore I will not lie about it. Now, when we think about why it is said that Christ was crucified, one of the main things that was told was he would not renounce that he was the Christ. The Jewish people of that time considered it blasphemous to say you're God, right? And so they wanted him to renounce it, but he would not renounce that he was higher consciousness. He said, I know who I am, therefore I will not lie about it. The reason this was later reframed as a sacrifice, religious reframed the crucifixion as a sacrifice for sin because a suffering Savior is easier to control than an awakened one. To get people to suffer is a lot easier than to get them to stand in their truth. That guilt keeps people obedient. It's all about guilt. That your self-denial, power, structures. But Christ consciousness teaches embodiment, not erasure. Take up your cross does not mean accepting abuse, erasing boundaries, or glorifying suffering. It means fear without abandoning your truth. Carrying responsibility without losing self, even remaining aligned when challenged. Christ consciousness looks like knowing your worth without comparison. You are valued without comparing yourself to anything else. Setting your boundaries without hatred. Not being disrespectful, but not hating people for trying to disrespect you. Forgiving without self-abandonment. Again, we are always challenged by forgiving people, but we need to understand that forgiving them does not mean that we abandon ourselves. And serving without martyrdom. Christ consciousness is about serving each other, but not at the point of sacrificing ourselves. I know this is a radical way of thinking about the crucifixion, but you need to understand that the way that has been framed was a way of controlling you through fear and suffering. So in closing, it said Christ consciousness does not ask you to die for love. It asks you to live as love without compromise. To live as love without compromise. So that's been the energy around Venus enters Capricorn as we discuss love. We got the message from the Sirian Starseeds. The full guidance will be on Patreon. Please click on the link in the description and become a Patreon member. There's some great exercises there for you to help awaken your consciousness, to help you elevate and move into the conscious realm. Disclosure Day is coming quickly. It's a big deal. We're going to be talking more about it. I hope something said resonate with those that it's supposed to resonate with, that you receive it. If it was not for you, leave it where it's at. I want to say I'm truly grateful for allowing me to share this message with the Conscious Collector. I want to wish everyone love and light in their journey.